What is going on, guys? Baint from R8X Digital, and in this video, I'm going to talk about how you can double the revenue of your landscaping or home service business. And we're going to talk about three really important things that I think are extremely underrated and oftentimes get overlooked and don't receive as much attention or as much priority, maybe because of the lack of awareness as far as the significance of some of these things, but also it's just something that it does go very overlooked. And when you're kind of in the weeds, no pun intended, of running your landscaping business, this is stuff that oftentimes kind of sinks to the back of mind and doesn't necessarily present itself as an issue, but in reality, it's something that if you worked on and tweaked a little bit, can make a huge difference in your landscaping business. And the three things that we're going to talk about in this video and kind of focus on are your sales and your systems, specifically revolving around the sales process itself, which maybe is something that you haven't even really put a lot of thought into, but we're going to break it down a little bit further in this video. We're also going to talk about speed to lead, which is one of the factors in your sales system. And also another factor would be your follow-up. So these are all things that you can do to increase your revenue. And by focusing on these things and maybe tweaking them a little bit can have dramatic results on the impact of your bottom line and top line without really having to change or tweak a whole lot. A lot of it is just being aware of it, kind of working on a couple specific things, implementing those things, and then just slowly iterating on what works over time. So to kind of just give you guys a little bit of preface on this video and why I'm making it in the first place, one thing that I've noticed through working with clients pretty much across the United States, and also something that definitely stood out as one of the reasons why I think me and my partner were successful in running our landscaping business, was because we had our sales process dialed in. Now, through the marketing services that I provide for landscaping and hardscaping, green industry, tree service professionals, all that stuff. One thing that I've noticed is that sometimes people, because I have like access to the back end and the CRM that we use to manage all of their leads and stuff like that. And so I get the phone call recordings, I get the, some of the messages between them. And just by looking at it, there's some things that stand out to me as like, hey, this could be a lot better. And a lot of it comes down to just sales, purely sales. And I think it's something that maybe goes slightly overlooked because I know a lot of guys that are in landscaping, hardscaping, irrigation, tree service, green industry, or even just to broaden it a little bit, kind of the home services and the trades in general. A lot of guys that go on to start these businesses come from that kind of blue collar background where maybe they were working in the trades before. And then eventually kind of went on to start their own thing, or have had some sort of work that was very much relevant to that kind of industry. So throughout the whole course of your, let's call it, landscaping career, you probably learned a lot about the equipment, about the jobs themselves, maybe about, certain plants, flowers, grass types, all of the different things that are relevant to running your operations and performing high quality services and kind of mastering your craft, so to speak. But one thing that I don't think a lot of you guys have maybe received is like formal sales training. And it's definitely something that comes naturally to some people, and they might be doing a really great job of this and not even know why. But sometimes I think a lot of people overlook it because how you talk to people, how you set up your sales process, the idea of knowing how to close is something that I think maybe goes overlooked amongst the trades. And if you can improve these things even by like 1 to 10%, you're going to have a lot of, money coming in that wouldn't have been coming in otherwise. So enough rambling. Let's jump right into it here. And let's talk about the sales and systems. So again, like I said, a lot of you guys probably don't have any formal sales training. Now, you don't have to go over the top with this, but I highly implore you to just kind of maybe go through some YouTube videos, learn a little bit about closing and what it means and some of the psychology behind it, and how you can set up and, create conversations that give you the result that you want, which is more customers, more clients, ultimately making more money, closing more deals, getting more projects on the calendar, right? So do a little bit of research on this independently, because I could sit here and talk about sales all day and make a whole other video on this. And I honestly plan on doing it. And if you guys have not heard already, I do have a community and coaching program where we cover everything related to marketing your landscaping business. And in the near future, I'm going to try and add a sales program in there as well, and get some industry professionals to maybe give their advice and their 2 cents specifically as it relates to landscaping. But do a little bit of digging on YouTube on your own. Watch some people do sales calls. I'm sure there's guys out there that have made videos about, closing for landscaping related projects, and just learn a little bit about the structure of a sales conversation, and how there's an intro and a kind of rapport building where you meet someone for the first time. You're kind of just feeling each other out. You get the vibe, and then kind of right away if it's someone that you really want to work with or not. And then, as they're walking you around the project, figuring out the different pain points that they have and what it is that's driving them to get this patio built or get this turf installed. Maybe it's like, hey, I've got a rock backyard or a dirt backyard, and I really want, something for my kids to go out and play on in the backyard, whatever the reason, dig a little deeper in the conversations and really understand what it is that's driving the client to take on this project, and understanding and using kind of some of those things that they're going to tell you as ammunition when it comes to getting the close, where, you can kind of reference those things and you're building up this list in your head of like, hey, this is the real reason why this person wants this project done. You know what I mean? And then you can use those things in your closing to help you kind of seal the deal, so to speak. And then also building systems around this process, right? Or just having some sort of process in general. A lot of guys kind of just freeball it. It's like, hey, they get a phone call, they schedule an estimate. Every estimate that they do is a little different. Every client that they talk to, it's a little different. And yeah, you can have variations of this, but if you can sit back for a second and bird's eye view, 30,000 foot view, think back to some of the most recent estimates that you've done. Think back to some of the more, the good property walks that you've done, the ones that ended in sealing the deal and closing the client. And then think back to some of the ones that went poorly, or maybe you fumbled a little bit, or maybe the vibe wasn't right, or maybe, you had a lot of objections. Oh, it costs too much. Oh, you're too far booked out. I don't know about this material. I don't know about this. Can I see proof of your work? There's a million different objections that people could have that you could encounter when you're doing landscaping work, specifically the higher ticket project that you're going for, the more objections that people are going to have. It's very easy for someone to say, yeah, I'll have you come mow my lawn for 60 to $100. But if someone's going to invest tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to have you do a big project in their lawn, they're going to want to make sure that you're the right guy. So how you present yourself and kind of how you work your sales process is very much going to determine the outcome of that conversation, right? So build a system, build something that you can rely on, build something that works based off of your personality and your style, because everybody handles sales a little differently. I know that me personally, I kind of take a little bit more of a laid back approach. But if you go on YouTube, like I said, and you search some of these sales videos and like closing videos, you'll encounter the salesmen that are more aggressive, and really push for the paperwork to get signed and the credit card to get, ran and stuff like that. And everybody has their own style, based on your personality and how effective you are at communicating and kind of just how you come across to other people. You're going to want to kind of figure out something that works for you. But once you kind of discover, a formula that works for you, build a system around it so it's predictable every single time. And the reason for that is because you want to know what your numbers are. And this is a conversation that is very, very common within the trades and in landscaping in particular. Guys don't know their numbers. And, a lot of guys are figuring out, hey, if I actually want to make money, if I actually want to do certain things, I need to figure out what my overhead is. I need to figure out what the daily cost is to just run my business. And then I can bid my jobs more effectively based off of that. But you also need to know your numbers when it comes to your marketing as well. What is your ad spend? What is your cost per acquisition, per new client? What is your cost per job? And then on top of that, what is your closing percentage? What's your booking percentage? So if I give you 100 leads, how many of them are you going to schedule an estimate for? out of those estimates and out of those property walks, how many are you going to close and land the job, right? Those are all numbers that are very important to know. And those are the numbers that you're going to use to optimize this system right here. Because if you don't know the numbers, then you're just kind of going in blind every single time. And you really want to make sure that you get this dialed so that you know exactly what your process is. And when you get 10 or 12 leads, you know that you're going to be able to close 50% of them at a certain hourly rate. And, it becomes a little more predictable, especially if you're trying to grow and scale your business. Predictability becomes something that can really, really make or break the business for you, because it comes to, cash flow, hiring employees, lead flow, all these things. Like, a lot of it can be up in the air sometimes. And it's very scary when the growth of your business can be unpredictable. You might have 2 or 3 really great months, and then you just drop off. It's like the landscaping market cycle is very up and down as it is, based on just the seasonality of the business. But as many factors within the business that you can control, you want to, because it's what's going to get you the best results, right? So the first and probably most important part of this system, your sales process, is going to be your speed to lead. This is something where I've seen it happen over and over. A client signs on, they want to do some marketing stuff. We go out and we get them leads, but within our system, we can see if they're calling them or not. We can see how long it takes them to follow up with the leads. And I totally understand. I mean, you guys are in the truck. That's your office. You're out on the road 24/7, going to another estimate, going to check in on crews, going to, pick up materials, get this part for equipment that broke down, whatever it is. I understand the day-to-day life is extremely hectic and busy. Been there, done it myself, right? So I know that sometimes you can't always just be at the beck and call, and, have your phone on, ring for, all day and be able to pick it up at a moment's notice, because there's shit going on, right? Totally get it. But the speed to lead is something that's very, very important. And just to define this so that we all know what we're talking about here, from the second that someone calls your phone to the second that you give them a call back, how long is that, right? So they give you a call, they send out the form through your website, that you get an email, you get a text message saying, hey, you got a new lead. How long does it take you to get back in touch with them, right? And every minute that goes by counts, because I think it was, believe it or not, as much as we all probably hate Angie's Leads and Home Advisor, they do have a lot of data. They do have a lot of statistics. And I think that a couple years ago, they put out a research paper that said, if 15 minutes goes by before you get back to your leads, you lose that percentage of closing that job by about 80%. So for every 15 minutes that goes by, your chances of getting that job go down by 80%. Now, why is that? Because people are in a hurry. People are in a rush. People want to get this project done, right? That's why they called. So if you can't get back to them quickly, they're going to a competitor's website. They're filling out a form somewhere else. They're calling somebody else. So, one of the things that we do with our clients to kind of mitigate and help with this is we have automations. We have systems set up. We have a whole back end CRM and software that handles all of this. So if you get a phone call that you don't answer, it sends out a text to that person saying, hey, this is XYZ Landscaping. Sorry we missed your call. How can we help you? Right. And just starting that conversation, buying you some time, getting back to them instantly. We live in a world of instant gratification, right? Everybody wants things now. Everybody wants things quick. And we can't always provide that as service-based business owners, right? But what we can do is set up software and utilize technology and certain systems to help us as much as we can with that. So that's what we do, right away, is set up these automations in these systems so that, we're getting our clients the best chance possible to close more of these jobs, because we're getting back to them right away. So this is something that, this week or this month, as you're receiving new leads and stuff like that, think about your speed to lead. Just pay attention to it. How long does it, take for you to get back to a lead? And if you're out and you're busy and you're doing stuff and you get a missed call, pay attention to the jobs that you estimate and pay attention to the jobs that you close. And I guarantee you, if you get phone calls and you reply to them within 15 minutes, you're going to book more estimates. And those are the estimates that you're probably going to close more likely than the ones where it took you a couple hours or maybe a day or two to get back to somebody. If you have a full voicemail box, you're missing out on work. I guarantee you, right? So you need to be able to get back to people quickly. And unfortunately, just due to the nature of this type of business, it's something that you're going to want to leverage software or systems or a call center, or if you have a receptionist or, someone that handles kind of the customer interactions, or like an office person, that can help a lot too. But for the guys that are, maybe not at that level yet, software is going to be your best friend, because that's the fastest way to do it. It's also the most efficient. And it's kind of hands off. Once it's set up, it's running by itself, right? That doesn't mean that you can't just send these automated text messages and not ever get back to them or get them on the phone. You still have to do that as quickly as possible too. But what we can do with our system is just at least provide you a little bit of time, buy you some time back, right? So speed to lead, super, super important. A lot of people sleep on this. It totally makes sense though, right? If someone fills out a form, gives you a call, and they don't hear back from you, they're going to go somewhere else. Simple as that, right? So you got to make sure that you're contacting these leads and booking the estimate as quickly as possible. Another interesting statistic, I don't know the exact numbers off my head, but if I can find them, I'll put them on the screen or have an editor put them in. And like more times than not, the first person to show up and give an estimate for the job, if the number is right and if they kind of click with you as a person, and you know what I mean by that, like there might be some customers, some clients where you guys just nothing personal, but just like as people, you don't like, the vibe just is a little off, right? You know what I mean? So there's definitely going to be times where that happens, but more often than not, I guarantee you, if you're the first person to call back, you're the first person to put in an estimate, you're the first person to go walk the job with that client. And let's say you're not booked out 2 or 3 months, you're going to close that deal. You're going to get it. And if the numbers make sense, a lot of times these people are trying to get these projects done. So if you can just get there, get them a number, and if it checks out and it works with their budget, you're going to close, right? But let's talk about the next piece. On the ones that you don't get right away, maybe you go and you submit an estimate, or maybe you don't even get that far. Let's say maybe you got a text, you got an email, you got a form submission from your site, you got a phone call, a voicemail, whatever, and you called the person back. Hey, sorry, we missed your call. We know you're interested in XYZ project. Would love to get on the phone and maybe set up a time to come schedule an estimate to just walk around and see if we can help you. If you send that back, if you get back to them and you don't hear from them again, you should 100% be following up with these leads, right? Because every single person that calls, submits a form, emails you, whatever, it's someone that needs this work done, right? They're interested in getting this project finished, whether it's you, your competitor, or someone else. They're going to go somewhere and this job is going to get done by somebody, right? So it might as well be you. If you're not following up with your leads before the estimating stage, you're definitely losing out, because people are busy. The same way that you're in the truck and you might not be able to get to the phone right away, other people have lives, other people are working too. People got families, kids, all sorts of stuff going on. You never know if it's just like you missed the window, you missed the time where they were available and they saw the voicemail. They might have even listened to the voicemail that you sent back, and then they forgot about it because there's a million other things going on in their world, right? So follow up with them, text them, call them, email them, do whatever it takes to schedule that estimate or that property walk, and keep calling them until you get a yes, no, or I already got someone to do it, right? That's what you really want to do. Same thing. If you did a property walk and you submitted an estimate, this is like, this person is on the fence, right? This is like as close to the finish line as you can be until you've collected their, deposit, credit card, whatever, right? So if you went and took the time to estimate a property, you want to be following up with those people religiously, right? You turn in your bid for the job, a couple of days go by, you don't hear anything. Okay, time to get back in touch with them. A week goes by. All right, we're emailing, texting, calling, pounding it again. And some people think that following up is like needy or thirsty, or it's like, I don't want to bother them, I don't want to annoy them. It's like they called you to get this project done. You're not bothering them at all, and you shouldn't see it like that, because business is business, and ultimately you got to kind of understand that this is your livelihood. If you want your business to grow, you're going to have to do these types of things, because if you took the time, effort, energy, spent the money on gas to go visit this person, walk around their property, spend whatever, an hour talking to them and filling out paperwork, getting an estimate put together, running all that stuff, dude, you're already invested in getting this project, right? You don't want that time and effort, energy, money that you spent to just bid the job to go to waste. So you should be following up with them. Like logically, it doesn't make sense to not, right? And again, I would do this every couple days, weeks, until you get the yes, the no, or the F you. Stop calling me. That's how religious I would be about following up with work, because you need to do it, man. And like I said, you never know what's going on in people's lives, and it might have just, slipped their mind one day. They're not ignoring you. They didn't forget about you. They just had other stuff going on and, forgot to reply to your email, or they filled out their estimate, put their credit card in, but forgot to hit send. You never know, right? You never know. So it's definitely beneficial. Actually, I'm going to leave all these on the screen. It's 100% beneficial and in your best interest to follow up with leads, probably way more than you are right now. And that's another thing that's just absolutely critical. When it comes to marketing, typically it takes between 3 to 7 touches to get someone to convert. Meaning if me, Baint from R8X Digital, is trying to sell you, a landscaping company, marketing services, you might have to watch 8 or 10 of my videos. You might have to see me on TikTok, see me on Instagram, find me on YouTube, look up SEO for landscapers and find my website. You might have to see me in a bunch of different places, a bunch of different times before you get to the conclusion of like, okay, this is the guy that I want to, work with my business. Similarly for you guys, you might need to call a person a couple times before you can get them to close, before you can get them to say, okay, yeah, this guy is the one that I want to do this. Boom, let's confirm the estimate. Let's book this job. Let's get it done, right? So you never know. You just need to follow up with them. Do it religiously. Don't stop until you get the yes, no, or fuck you. Literally, that is how serious I would be about doing that. So now that we've kind of covered a lot of the higher level stuff, let's get into the nitty gritty, right? How all of this kind of affects your sales and your systems, right? So let's say that you're getting leads, right? And maybe you want to get more leads, which may or may not be the problem. But ultimately, if you want to grow your business, you're going to have to close more deals, get more sales, which means you're going to have to get more leads or more at bats, more chances to close, more chances to convert people into customers, right? So sometimes, honestly, for a lot of you guys, the leads might be the problem. And increasing the amount of leads that you get, especially when you're just getting started, it's going to be great because it gives you more experience with sales, right? If you're not doing volume, it's hard to get good at this because you're not doing it a lot. It's like muscle memory. The more jobs that you go to bid, the more clients that you talk to, the more times you pick up the phone and, you're listening to a complete stranger and you have to basically sell them on your services, or at least get them to, let you put in an estimate. The more times that you do that over and over and over and over and over, the better and better you're going to get at it. And you need to get good at it so you can build the system to improve the overall, function of everything, right? So sometimes increasing the amount of leads is the solution because it gets you more at bats, gets you more sales experience, and then you become a better salesperson, right? Or at least you start to be able to develop a system because you're scheduling, estimating, booking, closing jobs consistently. If you don't use it, you lose it. I'm sure a lot of you guys probably, if you're in your first, couple months, maybe a year or so of business, when winter's done and you got to go out and start bidding all these jobs again, you might be a little rusty, right? You got to get the, shake the rust off and get back in the groove of things. But when you're in the peak season, when you're in the spring rush, like we're getting close to right now, I'm sure a lot of you guys, you find the groove, right? You're doing 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 estimates a week. And you're like, all right, I know exactly what I need to say to this person. You're feeling yourself. You're kind of back in the swing, right? So getting more leads, get you more sales calls, get you more appointments, get you more estimates, get you more bookings. And ultimately, you should be able to close a percentage of those estimates and convert them into clients. After you close the deal, well, now you got to hold up your end of the bargain and deliver the service, right? So there's a million other things. We could make a whole other series of videos talking about service delivery and how to optimize this and how to improve this. But we're going to be focusing on sales and leads like we have been for this whole video. Service delivery is a whole separate beast. I'm guessing if you're watching this, you probably already have a business or maybe you're interested in getting started, in which case the service delivery is honestly kind of the easy part, right? Figuring out these two things can be a little more tricky. So then you deliver the service, boom, here's the checkered flag, the job is done. And now in order to make more money, you need more leads. But here's the thing, right? You can work with a company like myself, or do whatever other marketing strategies you want, but getting more leads beyond a certain point might not actually be what you need to close your business, or to scale your business. I mean, to grow it. And that might sound ridiculous, but let me explain why. Because if I can get you 100 leads in a month and you're only closing 20 of them, right? You're at a 20% close rate. And we could reverse engineer this and go further up the chain and figure out how many of those 100 are you booking estimates with, and out of those estimates, what are you closing? But let's just simplify things a little bit and say if you get 100 leads, you close 20, and then you deliver 20 services, right? Or you have 20 new clients. It would be just as easy and probably less effort and less expensive if you just increased your closing rate instead of doubling the amount of leads. Let's say you wanted to get 40 new clients or 40 new projects. So you've got, a full calendar's worth of work for the next month, right? You need 40 new closed deals, jobs to do to keep you and your crew busy, right? And you're only getting 100 leads and you're closing 20%. You could either double the amount of leads that you're getting at the same closing percentage, or you could increase your closing percentage and make and double your money, double the amount of bookings, double the amount of jobs that you're doing. I hope this is making sense. It's in my head, it's a little easier to think than it is to explain it, but I'm sure you guys are following and you kind of understand what I'm saying. So if I give you 100 leads and you close 20, that's a 20% close rate, right? But what if your close rate was 30 or 40 or 50, right? You could take the same amount of leads, you're spending the same amount on your marketing, the same amount of people are calling, whatever it is, like your system is set up, whatever you're generating as far as the average amount of phone calls per month. If you can increase your booking and your closing percentages, then that system doesn't need to change that much, right? But the hard part is, most guys don't want to do the personal work, don't want to do the self-development, or don't want to take the time to get better at sales or develop a system for speed to lead and getting back to clients, because it's easier to just say, that was a dud. This lead sucked, whatever. And it's like, you're not taking any personal accountability for the success of your business. And honestly, if I gave you 200 leads, your phone would be ringing like crazy. And, as much as you'd love that, it might get annoying, right? Depending on the systems that you have in place to handle that kind of volume. So it's like doubling the amount of leads that you get is less effective than just increasing your closing percentage. So I hope that gave you guys some food for thought. I know this video was pretty long and pretty lengthy, and hopefully you got some value from this. I kind of like doing these videos where I kind of freestyle off the cuff and, cover things in depth. And talk about some more of these kind of higher level things, because ultimately, I'm here to, do marketing stuff. And I love teaching you guys how to grow, scale, and improve your landscaping businesses. But sometimes there's videos like this where it's like, I kind of want to just give you some other things to think about other than just why you should be doing SEO and, ranking your website, stuff like that. So anyways, guys, again, I hope you found this valuable. If you do need help marketing and, growing and scaling your landscaping business, there's two solutions. One, if you are a business that is doing, between $100,000 and $250,000 or more, and you want a done for you service, meaning you come to my team and we handle everything for you when it comes to your website, SEO, Google Ads, stuff like that. We can handle all of that for you for, a fixed monthly fee plus your ad spend, whatever, stuff like that. We can discuss all the details. If you decide that you want to, use the first link in the description of this video to book a call with me. We can kind of go over what that would look like and see if us working together makes sense. The other alternative, by the time this video is out, I will have published and launched my coaching program and community called Landscape Accelerator. Basically what it is a school community where there's, other landscapers that are in this program. So you guys are able to interact and talk to each other. And also there's courses and modules basically teaching you how to do everything when it comes to marketing your landscaping business. We give you guys website templates. We give you guys our exact SEO formula for how to rank the website after. We talk about how to start, create, and get your Google business profile up and running, and also deal with some of the more BS things that come with it if you get suspended, stuff like that, which happens. How to get more reviews, all that stuff. We talk about literally everything. It is all the information that is stored in my brain from 4 years in the landscaping industry and running my own landscaping business to now working with landscaping businesses and helping them grow and scale through marketing services for the past 2 years with clients across the country. All of that knowledge and experience, I have done my absolute best to put that into recordings and trainings and just basically teach you guys everything that I know, so that for those of you guys that are maybe like under $100,000, or maybe you kind of want to just, do it yourself and take a crack at it, it's a different solution for the same problem of like, how do we grow our business? For the guys that are running a bigger operation and you want someone to kind of take care of everything for you, so it's hands off and you don't have to wear the other hat, totally get it. In that case, book a call and we can, kind of work through our options, see if it makes sense. Or like I said, if you're kind of in the DIY, getting it off the ground, bootstrapping phase of your business and you want to, do everything yourself, we got the solution for that too. And that'll be the second link in the description where you can sign up for the Landscape Accelerator program. We do live coaching calls and stuff in there too. So if you guys have questions about anything, jump in there, join the live streams and ask away. So yeah, again, hope you guys found this valuable and helpful. I will see you guys in the next video. Hope you're crushing it. Spring is here. And let's go get that money. Peace, guys.